Hey, what's up, guys? Jay Wallen here. Welcome back to my channel. Been a little bit delayed, got caught up doing some stuff, but today we're going to recap the Lake Dardanelle event. That was the Hobie Bass Open Series just a few weeks ago. Had a pretty good practice out there. Went out there, had a little bit of history from last September. So, I kind of had in my head, some of the places I was going to check. Had a decent practice. I caught fish every day, but it was a lot of junk fishing. It was square bill, chatterbait, flipping a D-bomb a little bit. And I was catching fish, every day, but I wasn't really on anything good. I didn't have anything really figured out per se. The last day of practice, I managed to get into an area that I had fished, like I said, back in September. And I was kind of saving this area because I knew if all else failed, I could go there and at least catch a limit every day, or at least I thought I could. So I got in there and immediately started getting some quality bites. Shook a lot of fish off on my last practice day. Didn't want to sore mouth a bunch of fish, but I hooked a couple, enough to know what kind of size was there. And like I said, I was getting some bites. So pretty much decided that was going to be my primary spot where I thought I could get a limit. And then I did have one other area where I didn't get so many bites, but the bites I did get were quality. And so I really felt like I could get a limit in my primary spot. And then if I needed a kicker or two, I would always have that other area in my back pocket. It was just a short ride up the road. So that's pretty much my game plan, and that's exactly what I did. Did all of my damage flipping a wacky rig Senko. Spinning rod, light tackle, light line. These places are getting hammered. They're getting beat up, and I found that I really have to finesse to get some of the more quality bites. And that's pretty much what I did. The only other fish I caught not on a Senko was the last two fish of the day that I upgraded on the final day. Those were caught on a D-bomb. But that was pretty much the deal, was the Senko and fishing really, really slow. The key was you had to fish slow. That really should have been. Baby. Solid Dardanelle special right there. It's not very long. That's a solid fish. It's fat. Getting a bloody tail. It's a female up here looking to nest. It's a solid fish right there. Heck yeah. Just flipping timber. That's the deal here. You know, most of my big fish I've caught on this lake, it's been flipping a D-bomb in the woods. So spawn time, that's what they ought to be doing. We're up here in this timber. Let that one go. Heck yeah. Oh, that's a big one. Come here. Heck yeah. On day one, I worked with the NRX 852S and a wacky rig Cinco, fished incredibly slow. The banks I was fishing were steep with laydowns, and a lot of those fish were actually suspended, and it really took a weightless, slow approach to get them to bite for me. I lost a couple of decent fish that probably would have pushed me into the top 5, but using light tackle, you're going to lose a few. It's just part of the game. Shit. I couldn't really video much while I was out there because I had a lot of overhanging trees. I was getting way back in some tight quarters, and I just couldn't have my camera pole sticking up. So I have some footage here for you to kind of get the idea of what I was doing. At the end of day one, after just slow grinding fishing all day long in one area, I ended up with 85 inches. I was sitting in 21st place and just 4 inches off the lead. I actually had an 18-inch plus fish that I let get away that would have culled me up at least 5 inches and probably would have had me sitting in the lead after day one. But like I said, when you're using light tackle, that's part of the game. That comes along with the territory. But, you know, my primary area was actually fishing pretty good. I had pretty good confidence that I could come back the next day and get a limit and hopefully save myself enough time to make a 20-25 minute drive up the lake, which will give me an hour and a half or so to try and get a kicker at my second area. So once day two rolled around, stuck with my plan. I fished that same area once again, all with the wacky rig Cinco, and I had a limit pretty quick. It wasn't a big limit, but I did have a decent limit. I had a couple decent fish that I knew I probably wouldn't cull out. You know, and around 1 o'clock, I knew I needed at least a couple more fish to make it inside the cut line for a check. So I decided right then and there I was going to load up, drive a few minutes to my other area, and see if I could get a couple kickers. When I pulled into my second area, there was quite a few kayaks in the parking lot, so I knew it was getting hit pretty good. I also made it to the ramp and started launching, and there were a couple bass boats in there too. But, you know, one of my key stretches, I dropped a couple GPS points on. They didn't really look like much, you know, but they were holding fish. I got out there and found nobody was anywhere near it. So I felt really good, just the fact nobody was fishing what I was wanting to fish. I made 2 or 3 flips with a Texas rig D-bomb and some of that matted up green grass right up on the bank. Loaded up on a 16 1/4 inch kicker, called out a 13-inch fish for me. I started feeling pretty good. I still had a like a 14 1/4 that I really needed to get rid of to feel like I had a chance to make a check. And I just kept going down that stretch, kind of worked around a corner. My line just bounced and then got another 16-inch fish to call out a 14 1/4. That was just enough to give me 168 1/4 inches, put me in 11th place, fishing against 123 other anglers out on Lake Dardanelle, and that was pretty much the deal. Caught almost everything on a Cinco and a couple key fish on a Texas rig D-bomb. So Lake Dardanelle, if you've never been there, it's the Arkansas River. There's a lot of key creeks and a couple other piney rivers, a big tributary that flows in there. Awesome fishing, especially in the springtime. You've got a lot of bank grass, a lot of laydowns, a lot of different ways to catch fish. Really enjoy going to Dardanelle. I can't wait to go back. It suits my style. I love shallow water fishing. And it's just a shallow water fisherman's paradise. I mean, you can do literally anything you want to do. If you want to flip, throw a Senko, spinnerbaits, square bills, topwater, swim jigs, I mean, you name it. Whatever you like to do, you can do there and actually catch some fish. But appreciate you guys watching. That was my rundown of the Lake Dardanelle event. Sorry I didn't get more camera footage for you guys where I was at. It was just really tough for me to do any filming. A lot of tight quarters and overhanging trees, and I couldn't get my cameras up. All right, guys, that wraps it up for me. I appreciate you guys watching. That was my recap for Lake Dardanelle. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I got another tournament video coming up for you guys in just a couple days. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. But hit subscribe, and we're on the road to Lake Hartwell here in a couple days. Going to have some good stuff coming to you from there.